Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you again for joining my YouTube channel. My name is Greg L. Thomas. Only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly. Robert F. Kennedy said that. And that's a powerful statement because basically what the statement indicates, or the quote indicates, is that if you're not willing to take chances in life, then the rewards may not be above average. So in other words, the rewards are in proportion to the risk that you are willing to take. So if you're not willing to put it all on the line, then the universe is probably not going to reward you in proportion to that. So I have a question. So would you rather have a perfect unpublished book, or would you rather have an imperfect published book? I ask that question because I'm an author. And sometimes people say to me, well, I was writing a book, but I'm not finished because, I haven't got it perfect yet. So a couple of years later, I'll ask them the question, how far along are you on your book? And they'll say, well, I'm still working on it because, I haven't got it perfect yet. Well, that's interesting because I choose the imperfect published book, and here's why. With the imperfect published book, you can impact more people, and you can start making sales, and people can give you feedback on some of the things that you could improve upon in your book writing. So I always say, let the ring be your teacher, or let the stage be your teacher. People learn through practice. And so if you're afraid to fail, if you're afraid to make mistakes, or you're afraid that your book is not perfect, then a lot of times that hinders you and prevents you from fully pursuing your dreams. But one thing that I've learned about this is you don't need to know everything to get started. You don't have to know everything to get started. One thing I've learned about uh, the universe is that to get started, God will teach you along the way. Really, this is what activates God power, is getting started. Action activates God power. So getting started is really the key to activating God's power. Because once you get started, God will create the circumstances, and he'll put the right people in your path to help you facilitate whatever it is that you're trying to do. So the action is what activates the spiritual mechanism. It's the action that activates the spiritual mechanism. So what I've learned in life is just get started. Just get started. And see, that's what people don't understand. And people procrastinate, and they say that after I finalize everything, after I get everything straight, after I put together all the details and make sure that it's perfect, then I'll get started. Well, they never get started because all of those things will never come together at one time. The real power in the education comes from the process. You have to get in the process. All those things just don't line up perfectly before you get started. It's like people say, once my kids graduate high school, or once my kids graduate college, then I'll start the business. After this and that happens, then I'll get started. Well, no, all of those things are not. After I retire and, I'll tap my 401k plan. Once I save up enough money, then I'll start my business. All of those things don't just get started. God, if you really trust in God, if you really believe in God as you say you do, just get started. God will create the circumstances. He'll put the right people in your path to facilitate whatever it is. Now, you have to be clear on what it is that you're trying to do now, because you can't send mixed signals to the universe. If you're doing 10 different things at one time, then, your results might not turn out the way I'm recommending. But once you get started, God will definitely create the circumstances, put the right people in your path to facilitate whatever it is that you're trying to do. So people always say that you have to be smart to do this or do that. If you have to be smart to start a business. You have to have a college degree. Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience. I've been in business for a while, and I've met a lot of business people. I've met a lot of successful business people. I'm a serial entrepreneur myself. So the thing I know for a fact is that action is always greater than smarts. All you got to do is just go down on Skid Row. You'll see a lot of smart people. You'll have conversations with a lot of smart, unsuccessful people. It's all about that action. It's all about what you do. Trust me, because it's, like I said, there's a powerful formula in doing. Because in doing, you're learning. You're getting feedback. You're meeting people. You're creating networks. You're sending out signals. You're vibrationally attracting the right people in your path. And that all comes from doing. Because if you're just sitting on the sideline and you're just theorizing, you're just writing plans on the board, you're not out on the field. You're not able to make adjustments. See, there are certain adjustments that you can only make by doing. You can't make these adjustments by theorizing, by being on the whiteboard. You have to actually be out there on the field, and there's things that you can't normally prepare for because it's not in a book. They don't talk about these things. It's only when you actually get out on the field. So the successful people that I know are all about that action. If you just be honest and think about it. Think about some of the people that you know that are successful. You look at these people and you say, wow. I mean, he doesn't speak proper grammar. You know, you find so many flaws in these people, but they're really good at what they do. I was looking at an interview the other day with Grant Cardone and Fertitta. He's the owner of the Houston Rockets. But Fertitta was honest, and what he said was, now Fertitta is worth $7 billion, mind you. He said, I'm not that smart. He said, I'm just good at the things that I'm good at. He said, that's what I focus on. He said, there's a lot of things that I don't know that, most people are smarter than me in. He said, I'm just good at what I'm good at. And then I looked at Grant Cardone and, Grant Cardone is funny, but Grant Cardone really kind of reminds me of a hillbilly. I mean, he doesn't speak the King's English or anything like that. He's just a doer. He's a go-getter. He's a salesman. It's the same thing even with Donald Trump. We give these people too much credit. They're just about that action. They really believe in themselves. And they really push forward on what they believe in. And that's where the success and that's where the power comes from, because again, there's a spiritual connection that comes with that. There's an assistance from a higher power that assists you when you put forth the act. When you take that step, when you take the first step, that's the magic to activating the spiritual power. So anyway, you guys, I just wanted to chat with you for a minute and just put that on your mind. and talk to you about the power of action. It's all about the power of action. There's power, and the power comes from action. All power comes from action. Success comes from action. It doesn't come from talking. It doesn't come from your degrees. It doesn't come from accolades. It comes from action. So you can go from nothing and you can easily move past everyone, all of your colleagues, if you just put forth more action. All right. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you hit that share button and subscribe to the channel if you like the content that I'm bringing to you. And also comment. Put your comments in the comments and let me know what's going on. I'll hit you back. All right. Until then, Greg L. Thomas.